Wagwan villages. So I'm on my way to do some photography with a friend of mine. Now, photography is something that I started doing, it's got to be like 3-4 years ago at least. It's been a little while. But over the last year or so, I haven't really done much of it. It's been very lax in what I've been very lax, I should say, in terms of my photographic pursuits. And I want to get back into photography. So I did a little bit last week, which was cool, and an event. And I want to do a little bit more today with a lady I'm about to meet. So we're over in King's Cross. This is King's Cross, London. Approaching where the station, there's actually a few stations around here, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's something that I do like to do, and take pictures of various things people are interested in, I find, especially at events. Here's the thing about doing event photography though, is that I try to get pictures of people when they're not looking at the camera, right? When they are just enjoying the evening, when they're just like, in their zone or whatever. But sometimes you go to events, not all events of course, but sometimes you go to events, parties in particular, and you try to take a picture of somebody while they're just like laughing or just having a good time, but they'll spot the camera at the corner of their eye and they'll quickly do a pose. And sometimes it works out, it's still a cool picture or whatever, but it's just funny sometimes when you try to take a picture of somebody and they're always like, no, it's camera time, they got camera mode, and it's like start posing. And I guess that's part of living in London. It's very much a surveilled city, so you're always aware of cameras around, and where the cameras are. So anytime someone sticks the camera up, I guess there's some kind of sixth sense that we have developed over the years by now, that anytime someone puts a camera up, it's like, yeah, better pose. As I wait, I watched the first episode of Stranger Things today, and it's pretty cool. I know that show's been out for a while. I'm kind of late on it. I know people have been talking about it for ages, but whatever, it is what it is. I've gotten around to it when I watched the first episode, and yeah, I enjoyed it so far. Really cool episode. So if you haven't checked it out, it gets an episode 1 recommendation at least. I need to watch the rest of it before I can recommend a whole season. There's only 8 episodes in the first season, but definitely the first episode is pretty good. But anyway, I'm watching it on my phone in a park, as us people with money do, because I've got it like that, right? And this guy comes up to me. I've got my headphones on. I'm watching it, and he just comes up to me and he sits down next to me and he starts talking. And anytime when you got your headphones on, it's kind of awkward. Someone starts talking to you, right? You don't really want to pay much attention to them. You're kind of like, dude, I'm not that interested in what you're saying right now, right? But he carries on talking, and eventually sort of got onto the fact that he's homeless, and he's just talking about his life and how he came from another country, Mozambique, and so on. And he said a lot of stuff that don't quite make a lot of sense, but out of what he was saying, out of what I did understand, it made sense, which makes no sense in itself. Anyway, I understood some of what he's saying. But the thing is, as he's talking to me, I'm kind of like, I'm watching the show, I've got my headphones on, I'm watching the show, he's talking to me, and I can hear what he's saying a little bit, and I'm trying to pay attention. I'm kind of like in two minds, I don't really want to engage, but then I just want to watch my show, right? But then at the same time, I'm thinking, what? This guy might just need someone to talk to. He might just be lonely, or he might just want to rant or rave and whatever for a little while and just needs an ear. So I started talking to him, started engaging him in the conversation a little bit more, and it's just crazy. I know it's like kind of obvious when you think about it, but it's just crazy how much we take for granted, when you really think about it. I'm sure I'm not the first to say this. In fact, I know I'm not the first to say this. I'm sure you've heard it a million times before, but it's just really crazy how much we take for granted. And when you start talking to people who have so much less than you, and just the little things that mean so much to them, like just having shoes, just something as basic as shoes is a luxury to somebody who doesn't have shoes. Somebody who, as he was telling me, he has 20 pence in his pocket, but he goes to the shop to get something to eat, and it's £2. You know what I mean? We don't have to worry about that sort of stuff. At least a lot of us don't. If you're watching this video, I'll assume you probably don't quite so much about that. But it's just, it's nuts. It's nuts. And I know there's not really a whole lot you can do about it in terms of, I mean, of course you could always give money to homeless people or donate to charities. I think that those are the things you can do. But in terms of the bigger problem of there being homeless people, that's probably something that's going to be around for a long time, unfortunately. But it's just, yeah. Sometimes you've got to spare a thought for those less fortunate, and yeah, it's a humbling experience sometimes, because as much as you try to think, or at least I try to think that, you know, I'm conscious of all these things and all these issues of the world, but sometimes just talk to somebody for a moment and realizing that I'm sitting here with my phone out, watching a TV show on Netflix, streamed over 4G connection, right? And this guy is just like, you know, worried about what he's going to eat, what he's going to eat next. And it's nuts, man. It's nuts. But yeah. Anyway, that's kind of a depressing thought to back to well. But you know, sometimes you gotta get a little bit sad. And certainly not everything in this world is a happy thing. And homelessness is one of those unfortunate realities that we have. And but anyway. Okay, so I need to get a new phone. So here's what happened. I'm waiting for my friend and to do the photography, and I send a message to her through you know, the message thingy. Anyway, I sent a message to her saying, yeah, I'm here, just letting her where I am. And about 2, 3, 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes later, my phone dies. It just cuts out, the battery gone, dead. Now, at that point, I'm like, this is taking a piss, because over the past, I think a few months I've been noticing this. The battery hasn't been lasting as long as it once was. So it's supposed to get down to like, you know, 1%, 2%, around about there before it cuts out. But lately it's been getting down to like 40, 50% and then just cutting out, it's ridiculous. But today it got down to about 80% battery, and it cut out. Anyway, I have a portable charger. I plugged that in, and it's telling me that it's charging from 0%, like it's nothing. I was like, no, it was definitely around 8%. Anyway, so I couldn't use my phone for a while, so I don't know if she's trying to get me back, try and message me back or anything like that. I'm just like, I'm blind. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm disconnected from the world. I did have my iPad with me, so I'm walking around looking for Wi-Fi spots. I go to McDonald's because they got free Wi-Fi. Now here's the thing. I didn't know that you don't have to buy anything in McDonald's to use their Wi-Fi. I thought you did. So I bought a milkshake, and I go over to the Wi-Fi bit, to where the Wi-Fi information was, and that's when I realized actually I didn't even need to buy anything. I could just use it. But anyway, I tried to log onto their Wi-Fi. Turns out it's not working. So I go to another McDonald's, and by the way, King's Cross has 2 McDonald's, and for those who've never been to London, there are parts of London that have 2 McDonald's, and it's crazy because there are parts of the world that don't have any McDonald's, and then there are parts of London where there's literally 2 McDonald's right across the road from each other. King's Cross is one of those areas. Anyway, so I go to the other McDonald's, try to log into their Wi-Fi, and yeah, again, not working. So I'm walking around trying to find an unsecured Wi-Fi spot. All the ones I found, none of them were working, or they had like other steps that you just couldn't get on. Anyway, I eventually found somebody who was kind enough, very kind enough, to turn their phone into a Wi-Fi spot for me, and I was able to check the message and send her a message, and it all worked out. So we did photography. By the way, if you're interested in my photography, follow me on flickr.com/uncivilized-arts. I'll put a link in the description. But yeah, that went okay. So we met up, we did shoot, and it went all okay. But yeah, my phone is playing up. It's starting to show its age. It's been about 3 years, nearly 3 years I've had it, and it's starting to show its age. So I need a new phone. Very, very frustrating when that sort of thing happens. But you got to keep things in perspective. So I was talking earlier about the homeless man that I met, and just understanding that. Not to take pleasure in someone else's misfortune, but understanding that the problems that we have could definitely be a lot worse. So, but that being said, I think the other side to that whole thing is just because somebody else has it worse, that doesn't mean that you can't be upset about things. That doesn't mean that you can't be frustrated or you can't be annoyed about the problems and the things that you're going through. Just because somebody else has it worse, that doesn't mean that your issues are all of a sudden invalid. I don't think that's the case. Just because what we go through, and I'm saying we, I'm being very general, I know, but just because the things that we go through may be relatively minor in comparison, you know, there's still things that annoy us, and it's still important to acknowledge when we're annoyed and when we're pissed off and when we're frustrated or angry and so on. But at the same time, you know, you got to take a step back sometimes and look at yourself from just as if you're a ghost watching yourself, and just say, you know what, it's not that bad, it's not that deep, and you know, I can handle it, and you know what I mean. So yeah, things might frustrate you, but you always got to take a step back and say, you know what, it's not that deep. In most cases, I'm generalizing. There are going to be times where actually it is that deep, and that just sucks. But anyway, yeah, that is the end of my day. Tomorrow should be interesting, meeting an old friend that I haven't seen for a little while. I think about 2 years maybe, give or take. So hopefully that goes through nicely. But well, guess I'm a bit more prepared for if it doesn't. Anyway, if you like this video, give it a like, share it amongst your friends. If you didn't like it, give it a dislike and share it amongst your enemies. Either way, let me know your reasons in the comments. Subscribe if you have not already. Thank you for watching. And until whenever, if ever, it ain't that deep. It just ain't that deep.
I tend to find people who do long poems and I get bored. However, today, Bummy did a piece, and what he did was